Everyone, welcome to Good for the Game TV, and this is our Rugby Championships Week 2 Handicap projection show. Let's start off by looking at Week 1, where South Africa beat Australia 35-17. Good performance by what was essentially a second-string South African side. There were times in that first half where things looked a little bit shaky, Australia having a forward pass try disallowed, and also Dane Hallett-Petty committing absolute harikiri on the try line, failing to just pick up and put it over for the 5-pointer. But South Africa coming through the test well. They're winning by 18 points, which comfortably saw them beat the handicap, which was ranging around the 5.5 to 7.5 point mark. I was on the South Africa 1 to 12, so unfortunately that last try from Reinach didn't do me any favours, although forum poster Southpaw on the Good for the Game forum, I'll put a link to this week's rugby thread below. He was on Reinach, I think, at 25 to 1 to score the last try, so well done to him. Argentina up against New Zealand. Well, Argentina were a popular choice on the handicap all week on Good for the Game. In fact, some of our punters have been backing them for 3 or 4 weeks in this fixture and also taken the 25 to 1 outright. The outright, unfortunately, looks done and dusted now after New Zealand held off to win by 4 points. New Zealand led 29 at the break, so it was a great comeback by Argentina. They scored early in the second half. Unfortunately, they failed to add to their points, which was not good news for me. I was on Argentina over 17.5 points. And unfortunately, Sanchez missing that penalty with about 20 to go. Well, that was me done. I just had a feeling when that missed that was going to be the end of it for me. Good start then. I would imagine that New Zealand, haven't seen any betting yet, are still very, very firm favourites to win the Rugby Championship. They were as short as 2 to 7 to start with anyway. And Argentina, unfortunately, not winning that game. I'd say their chances are probably gone now. Let's have a look at this week's fixtures. New Zealand against South Africa. That's at the Westpac Stadium in Wellington. And should be a good encounter. We know that South Africa are going to be going all out to win that one. And New Zealand as well, of course, didn't field a full strength side over in Argentina. So some of their players will be rested for that. And then, of course, Australia at home to Argentina. That's in Brisbane. Let's have a look at the Good for the Game forum post, which I'm about to open for the new week. We'll also cover the Curry Cup rugby. I'll do a separate little video for that. Have a look at the handicap projections and any other rugby. You go on to goodforthegame.co.za and you can look for the forum. But don't worry, I will put a link down below, as well as a link to our weekly newsletter, which comes out every Friday with our bets and thoughts ahead of the weekend. Right, let's have a look at rugby projections. I'm going New Zealand -9.5 against South Africa, -9.5. I was toying around the 8.5, 9.5 mark. It'll be interesting to see where the books come out. Australia, Argentina, this is a tough one. You know, obviously both in this particular game as well. Team selection is going to be interesting. I'm not too sure of the side strategy. Argentina, for example, are they going to choose to rest a few players? They've been worked very hard over the Super Rugby campaign. I do think home ground advantage will see Australia start as -4.5 point favourites, but I may be a little bit out on that one. I'll put the projection video down below on here. Thanks very much for watching. And yes, if you haven't subscribed yet, please go down below the video, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you don't miss any of our videos, including, of course, our daily Tour de France previews.